My message today is embarrass yourself. And I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass. You know, usually when we think of humiliation, we think of, shame. We try our best to avoid it, right? We try our best to look the best and present the best. And I know this was divine timing for me to talk about this topic that I'm sharing with you today. I knew I was called to talk to you guys about this today because I was already going to talk about this. Like, let's just get that out of the way, right? I was already kind of sensing this energy of humiliation. Um but literally when I was getting ready to make this video, and this was like 2 days ago, my tooth fell out. Hold on. I could show you guys. I could show you guys real quick. You see this? You could hear the little, yeah, my tooth fell out. And it's far from my proudest moment. It's humiliating, right? You probably can't see it, but like if you see me in person, you'd probably be able to. Yeah, yo, literally a tooth fell out, right? And it got me thinking like, yo, this is totally a topic that I'm meant to talk about. And I shared it with a few other people, and a few other people are going through their own humiliation rituals right now. And so, going back to what I was saying in the beginning, embarrass yourself. I'm serious. Embarrass yourself. You embarrass yourself. Your abundance, your success, your goals, they're all on the other side of that humiliation, you know? Um, Sometimes when we are humiliated, it's paired with fear, it's paired with anxiety, it's paired with shame. And we do everything in our power to avoid humiliation when it might be the one thing that saves us. Seriously. Um, And so I'll give you a quick little story before I share some of these other things with you. For me, I was noticing the energy of humiliation externally. One of the first things that I seen was Donald Trump getting humiliated. He did a, which, he humiliates himself a lot, which, that's a whole nother build that we're going to get into. But Donald Trump stood in front of the military, the US military, gave a big speech that's supposed to be like his, like, yo, I'm running y'all now, whatever, right? Like he's a big shot. And they didn't applause. Matter of fact, they were all silent. It was pretty humiliating. And he didn't necessarily like it.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very. Don't laugh. Don't. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud.
President Trump awkwardly ordered the US generals to applaud him after entering a completely silent room.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. Of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word.
The N-word's crazy. We don't even need to get into that. That's a whole other thing. We don't even need to get into that, right? Yeah. As you can see, he was humiliated, right? I don't think any president has ever faced being humiliated at that level, especially in terms of the military, which he's the executive in chief. He's the head of the military. They only answer to him. I mean, they answer to their generals and their officers, but the officers and generals answer to him. If he says go to war, they go to war, with Congress's approval. If he says don't go to war, they don't. And so for him to be humiliated in such a way, I started to peep something. The second one that I saw was this one. Jaylen Brown and many other Celtics newcomers were at the Patriots game against the Panthers on Sunday in Gillette. So let's watch this video real quick. Patriots Nation! Right. Simple video. And it's one of those things where you would feel like, okay, Jaylen Brown, he's very, pro-black. He's been on a run. He's been doing a lot of things for the community of Boston. He just recently invested into Anawan. So shouts to Jaylen Brown for investing in Anawan and a few other like black businesses that are like giving back to the community. He's been a huge force. I saw him actually at the 19 Keys event in Boston recently, and he really just broke down what it means to be an intellectual athlete in this time and day and age when people like don't value athletes as intellects, strange enough, right? Now the comments don't show here, but what I wanted to show you guys, right, was that there was a lot of backlash. It was humiliating. People were like, yo, Mark Wahlberg, the guy who, is a known racist, got arrested for beating up an Asian person for being Asian. He's done so much, right? Said the N-word, I don't even know if I should throw his name out there, good elder of mine who worked with New Edition and New Kids on the Block. I asked him, I was like, yo, what was it like working with Mark Wahlberg? He was like, oh, Marky Mark? Oh, that racist? I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, damn. And so I started seeing it. What really hit it on the nose for me was when I saw Ab-Soul get humiliated, right? And if you're not familiar, Ab-Soul is he's from TDE. My personal favorite artist from TDE. I'm not gonna hold you. My personal favorite from TDE. I was one of those people who was always like, Kendrick's up, but next up is Ab-Soul. I've always felt that way. He's always been kind of more lyrical. And so he went on a Mafia-thon recently with Kai Cenat, and he choked. And it was one of those things where it was like, wait, how is the most lyrical member, literally the most lyrical member of TDE, how is he choking in a freestyle? Not gonna hold you. It was humiliating. Mind you, Ab-Soul is he's dealt with a lot of things in his life. And so you would think somebody like him would be immune to humiliation, which I'm finding out nobody is. Nobody is. I just showed you guys Trump, the leader of the quote unquote free world, right? Quote unquote. Being humiliated, right? If he's not immune, Ab-Soul ain't immune, right? Then something's going on, right? And so I'm gonna share this real quick. Y'all tell me what you think.
Yeah, gotta set it off. Shout out the homies, man. Young Jitty, what's happening, man? Thank you, Fresh Lord. Hey, man. I'm just the best, so I told you that. So put somebody back. sign your will with a quill. Dip it in your bloodline, deal away your whole DNA. Through familiar, big mad. The ironies is I'm composing this in oxygen. I don't need no page. Yeah, legal tender bender. Big stacks. Like that. Yeah.
Look, he's gonna try. He's gonna go for it again. Solo, no. Kai's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on right now.
I can't get it.
Okay, I think that's the end, right? Kai's like, I don't even know. Like, is this supposed to happen? I'm sure Kai heard Absol's reputation about being an ill spitter. Like, yo, he's about to light up this freestyle, da da da. And Absol came on and he didn't even know what to do. And you know, I say this as a rapper, it does come with the trade, it comes with the craft. You're gonna choke sometimes. I think the difference between an MC and Absol's still an MC, hands down, one of the best. But the difference between an MC and a rapper is you know how to recover from that shit. Like like you gotta know how to recover from that shit. Like, you know, some of the things that I do is probably just like repeat a line sometimes, or I'll look out at somebody in the crowd, have them get involved in some way, right? Find my way back somehow. But just saying, nah, I can't, ain't worth it. You know, I've definitely had a couple of instances where I heard a beat and I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna figure out how to ride this out. And then I just pass the mic. And I think that's a fair thing too. Um, and so I give Absol props for at least being like, yeah, that's all I got. Probably could have been way worse if he kept going. Right. But I seen that and I told my lovely wife, Sassy Destiny, I told her, I was like, yo, be careful out here. People are getting humiliated. People are being made fools of themselves, you know? Um, don't end up in a situation where you might make yourself seem foolish, right? Her Mars is in Gemini, meaning, you know, for my astrology folks, that means she gains her confidence and her motivation from knowledge, which, you know, I'm a Gemini. So it creates this type of synergy where I give her knowledge and that motivates her. And she gives me self affirmations and that motivates me because my Mars is in Leo, right? Main character energy type shit, right? Um, but a huge part of her thing is like, yo, if you don't have the knowledge, you're not gonna have the confidence, right? So my Mars in Gemini, folks, if you don't have the knowledge, you won't have the confidence. So for Sassy, I was like, yo, get your knowledge up. Somebody tries to press you or this and that about anything that you say, make sure you have the knowledge to back it up because the energy of humiliation is heavy out here. Now, mind you, I'm saying that from the perspective of thinking like, I ain't gonna get humiliated. Like, what? What? You ain't humiliating me. Look at my camera's chasing me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't humiliating me, right? Um, but then I stumbled upon another video, right? And this video really got me thinking. So I'm gonna share this with you real quick, and you guys let me know. All right. So it was this woman, right? This cool Asian woman. I really do wish I remembered her name. I have no idea what her name is. But she was breaking down and she was saying this from a woman's perspective, but I do feel like it applies to to all sexes, right? Um and shouts to the influencer who said this. If anybody knows who she is, you can put her at in the comments. I'll give her a personal shout out. But she was like, capitalism is a humiliation ritual, right? Now, I'm not sure if you understand what a humiliation ritual is, but there's this idea that like in order to initiate into success, one must humiliate themselves. And, when you get into the occult and what people call conspiracy, and I say that with air quotes, right? Because conspiring means to breathe together, right? But anyways, people will say like the Illuminati will put you through a humiliation ritual in order to blah 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 blah. Or the Freemasons will put you through a humiliation ritual to da 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 da, right? Whether that's true or not is neither here nor there, and is not the point of this video. But her point was capitalism is one big humiliation ritual. You must be humiliated in order to gain success in it. And her point was, on one end, if you just do it the traditional way, you got to start at an entry level job, and that entry level job will put you at the bottom of the corporate hierarchy. And excuse my French, her language was, you're going to have to be everybody's you know what I'm saying? You have to be everybody. You have to listen to what everybody says in order to get by and get on up to the top. She said the second way is you could, and she was saying this from a woman's perspective, right? You could just be a traditional wife, have a husband who takes care of you, provides for you, and you just stay at home with the family. But she's like, now you got to be his bitch, right? Like if he wants to humiliate you, you're gonna have to take that. So in the job, you're getting humiliated on the way up. And if you decide to be a traditional wife, you're getting humiliated at home. And then she was like, if you have a trust fund or an inheritance, you have to humiliate yourself in order to get that inheritance. They have stipulations. Hey, you only get this money if you don't do drugs. You only get this money if you leave that girlfriend alone. You only get this money if you renounce your lifestyle and join this religion, right? Whatever it is, right? Um, the person who creates the trust for these trust funds always has stipulations. And if you break those stipulations, you don't get the money. And it can be humiliating for some people. A lot of rich kids I know, they refuse the inheritance because they feel it's too humiliating to jump through those hoops. I know people who are told you got to go to college to get this inheritance, and they said no. What? If I had the inheritance, I just had to go to college for it? I I couldn't even afford college. But I teach at college. Man, yo, it's a whole nother thing. But it's one of those scenarios where it's like you got to humiliate yourself each and every way. But the last one she said really stuck to me because she was like, if you decide to just be an entrepreneur and do whatever the fuck you want, travel, do that passion that you always wanted to do, whether it's music, art, whatever, say the controversial opinions that you may have, right? Whatever it is, she's like, you're gonna humiliate yourself, but at least you're doing what you want. I repeat, you're gonna humiliate yourself, but at least you're doing what you want. And that grabbed me because I'm like, shit, I've already been feeling this feeling of humiliation all around the world around me. Then I thought about it and I was like, oh shit. Dramatic camera movement. I was like, oh shit. I've been getting humiliated this whole month, right? I've dealt with a lot of humiliation rituals this month, right? For me personally, I have a nonprofit called Mass Spirits. This nonprofit is about getting artists resources and funding that they don't normally get, and using it to give them access to studio time, music videos, and performance opportunities for free. They don't have to pay for it. They get royalties off of it, and they get paid for the performances that they book, right? Through us. Um, and we did it 2 years self-funded. This year, we became a 501c3, right? Uh, as anybody in the nonprofit space will tell you, it takes time for that letter of determination to come in the mail. Sometimes it takes months. Though I was looking online, people were saying it could take years. I didn't know. And then the government shut down. I didn't know how long it was going to take for me to get my letter of determination. I filed in February. I think I used my taxes. I think I used my tax returns to do it. I filed in February, right? By the time summer came, I'm like, yo, something's up. I should have that letter of determination by now. I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. I'm asking around, and everybody's just giving me this, like, yo, it takes time, like, whatever. I'm thinking, like, maybe I wasn't approved. But then I got like maybe one or two grants this year that were like, I would only get this if my 501c3 was 501c3'd, right? So, you know, at that point, I'm like, maybe it was approved, but I just didn't get the letter yet. I was still confused. So time goes on, and this was where I was kind of humiliated, right? I felt betrayed too. I found out my mom was throwing away the Mad Spirits mail the whole year. And so I had everybody in my nonprofit org waiting for this determination letter, and we were determined in May, bro. I found out in September. So that was one humiliating moment. The next one was I'm dealing with a health thing right now. Um Bone loss, right? From gum disease, right? I go to the dentist, and I don't even have health insurance or anything like that. So I go in, and bro, this was Harvard Dental, which they help people with mass health. So I go in, bro. When I say they put me through the most humiliation I've ever been through, until later, I don't know. I've dealt with some other humiliating things, right? It gets deep, but yeah, they propped me on a chair. They were like, "Oh yeah, like uh what's your trust with dentists and whatnot?" I don't trust them. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all only help people with money. Y'all try to sell products to people. Like last time I went to the dentist, they messed me up. And honestly, I'm 100% sure one of the reasons my bone loss and gum disease is so bad is because the dentist messed me up in 2020, right? My teeth were great before then. My teeth were great, no cavities. Even when they checked my teeth at the dentist today, not today, sorry, this month, they were like, bro, how do you have this much bone loss and gum disease, but no cavities or caries? They were fucking perplexed. They were like, how is this even possible? Because in their mind, they're thinking I caused this to myself. And they refuse to believe a dentist caused it to me. I don't know if there's any lawyers who could help me out with that, but I'm sure I have a case if I could prove it, cuz it's just like my teeth were fine before I went to that dentist in 2020. And ever since then, I just lost a tooth, right? Like ever since then I've been dealing with bad oral health. And thankfully, I still got a good smile and my breath don't stink. But it's I make it look good. Let's just say that. And when I was in the dentist, they were doing the most humiliating things. They had me prop my mouth open with a metal instrument, like on some like slave shit. They were taking pictures of it, to show other dental students and whatnot, bringing people into the room to be like, oh, hey, like, let's look at this, even though we're not going to help him. Like, they refused to help me. They said, like, we're not going to help you. You don't have enough money. You don't have insurance. We can't help you. All we can do, this is what they said, all we can do is take all the teeth out of your mouth, which that would be even more humiliating. If I showed up today talking like this and I had no, like, I don't even know, right? So if I'm losing one tooth at a time, I'd rather that than to be coming here like Gums McGee, right? um, but yeah, they did all that, put me in mad pain, poking and prodding in my mouth, and then they blamed the bleeding on me. But it's like, yo, she's taking the metal thing out. There's flesh on it. I'm like, yo, you're causing me to bleed. That's neither here nor there. Very humiliating, very traumatic. After that, um, I'm supposed to be getting this stipend for a gig that I'm doing with it's a fellowship with educators, and I'm waiting on the stipend. I'm waiting on the stipend, and lo and behold, you know, uh, I get no stipend, and they're emailing me. They're saying, "Yeah, we deposited it. Like we sent it late September," and I'm like, "I don't see nothing in my bank account. What's going on?" After like 10, 12 messages, I'm like, this is getting humiliating trying to chase this tiny little stipend, right? And for my own mental health, I even told him, I was like, you know what, I'm about to just let this go. Like, you don't even gotta pay me, right? And after like a week of like letting it ruminate, and then as I said, I started sensing this humiliation energy. I was like, you know what? If I have to humiliate myself to get my money, I will. So I consulted with ChatGPT, and it was like, ask for a ACH trace number and then figure it out with your bank. So I was like, all right, let me do that. I follow up with another humiliating email, right? Because sometimes we be humiliated to just even chase money we deserve. And I'm like, yo, can you send me a trace number? The finance guy hits me and he's like, yo, we deposited a check for you and we mailed it. We didn't, we wrote out a check for you and we mailed it, right? We didn't do direct deposit, which I'm like, the whole month y'all been telling me you did direct deposit. Lo and behold, same situation as the nonprofit, which I already know what people are going to say. Like, yo, you need to figure that shit out with your moms, which I do. That's a whole nother thing. But that was a whole nother piece of mail that was held behind. I had no idea it arrived. She was just hoarding it with other mail. I'm like, this is embarrassing. It's humiliating. I literally hit up these guys a billion times for my own money, which to rich people, it's not that much money. But to anybody who's dealing with this economy, that's money, right? And it was here the whole time, right? Now, before I even got that check, I'm squeezed because I needed that check. So I'm trying to get my bread, one one sale at a time. Literally, I've been on my enterprising grind, which it's crazy because with the state of the economy, although I'm like making money, I started a video company. I'm selling beats. I'm doing shows. I just featured on a public access television thing. Like that was dope. I'm doing things, but it's just like not enough, right? And so I'm in between checks at this point and still waiting for the stipend. And I'm drinking milk because uh I can't drink coffee no more, right? Because of the teeth situation. And I can't smoke weed no more. I quit weed because of the teeth situation, right? So I'm like, I gotta drink matcha, which I'm gonna do another video on why matcha is the truth and every rapper needs to be drinking matcha. High key. I'm gonna do a real good video on that. But yeah, I'm like, this is what I got to do now. Have some matcha, put a little RSO in it, um, and go about my day. And matcha goes great with some milk, right? Whether it's like oat milk, almond milk, coconut milk. But because I'm squeezed, I can't buy all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I end up taking the last can of, I think, evaporated milk, right? And I put it put it in my matcha drink. My mom's was tight because she's like, nigga, like I get it, like you ain't getting that much bread right now, but it's like, nigga, don't be taking my milk, right? That was the last milk, and she needed it to give to my pops and all this type of stuff. Shared kitchen space type shit. So, she's tight about it. And I'm like, I can go get the milk for you. Guys, this will out of everything, mind you, everything I was dealing with so far was already humiliating AF, right? It was super humiliating. This had to be the most humiliating. She's like, all right, here's $10. Go get me some milk at the store. I go to the store, market basket. I grab I grab the milk. I grab some heavy cream because it got that extra fat in there. And I grab her evaporated milk. Before I even walked into the store, I looked at my Cash App. And for those of you who got Cash App, y'all know how this is, right? I looked at my Cash App. I was like, my card's unlocked. But I was like, you know what? What are the odds of somebody taking money out of my card before I go buy this milk, right? I'm like, I need to stop being paranoid and attached to scarcity, right? They teach us, yo, like, don't have a scarcity mindset. So I'm like, I'll be fine. The time it takes for me to leave this car and get that milk and come back, I'll be good. Y'all already know how this goes, right? So I'm in line, and then the thought comes to my head again. I'm like, yo, the money better be on this card. Because I think every man kind of relates to this. Like, one of our worst fears is when we put our card through and that shit says insufficient funds. No man, I assure you, no man ever l- wants to see that day. It's probably the most humiliating thing a man can go through. You're a man. You're supposed to be able to pay for shit, right? And you could tell me if that's just, toxic conditioning, but that's how I was raised, right? Like, and if you don't have the money for shit, why are you there? Just leave, right? It's how life has always been for me as a man. And I don't think I've ever experienced this as a man. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever experienced this before. So I go into the line, I ring in my card, right? Ring in my groceries, pop in my card. Tell me why that shit said insufficient funds. I'm like, nigga, what? But how? I stepped to the side. I stepped to the side. I'm like, all right, let me figure out what's going on. I look at my Cash App. Fucking Google motherfucking Play took, I think, like $8 as soon as I put the money in, I guess, or whatever. It caught me slipping for a fucking Blink app. If you know Blink, it's like a business card on your phone. For a fucking Blink app. And I'm like, nigga, that was the worst time. The worst time. The woman is sitting there holding my groceries. Like, I'll wait. So she's holding a whole line of like probably 9 people. And I'm like, yo, you don't have to hold the line. I will come back around. She was like, nah, hold this line for you. Like, it's just $10. Everybody's giving me this look like, nigga, you can't afford $10. Like, it was so awkward. It was crazy awkward. So I'm calling my wife. I'm like, yo, you got to send me 10 right now because this is the most humiliating bullshit ever, right? Before she can even pick up the phone, an older white woman. And I have nothing bad against white women. I love white women. You cool, right? You're cool. You're great, right? Um, but if you understand the plight of black people and just our history, it is probably the most humiliating thing when an elderly white woman is like, "Yeah, I'll buy that for you. Don't worry, I got it covered." And I'm like, "Bro, it sucked the life out of me, y'all." It's it it was the most. I give it as I've had some humiliating moments, you know? I've had shows where not enough people showed up or the band played terrible because they didn't practice, you know? I've had incidences where I forgot the words, I guess, when I was performing. Not as bad as Absol, though shouts to Absol. This has to be the most humiliating moment in my life. It makes you question everything. Like, why am I in my 30s, bro, and I can't buy this $10 worth of milk? And the economy's tough. So although I feel like an alien, I'm sure somebody out there can relate. Um, EBT is going to be cut next month. You know what I'm saying? If I had EBT, I could probably buy it, but we don't even qualify for EBT, right? So I make some money, at least enough for them to not give me EBT, but not enough to buy milk that day. And so, um, I went to the car And I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to cry. I definitely wanted to cry. Um, and maybe at some point I will. I couldn't. I couldn't. I've never cried over money. Growing up, I seen my parents argue a lot and get emotional over money. And I've made a point to live my life not being emotionally attached to money. Though I feel like one of the detriments of that has been I haven't cared enough about it to master money. And so this year I've been so focused on mastering money. I've been learning all of it. It's why I'm here. It's why I'm on YouTube. Honestly, all the roads for money making led me back to content creation. Um and so I've been learning a lot about it, but I've never cried over money. And believe me, in that moment I wanted to. I didn't, but I wanted to. My wife told me, "Yo, babe, it's okay, cry." And I'm like, "No." To this day, I still refuse to. Maybe that's something I got to heal from. I've cried over many things. I cried when MF Doom passed away. I've cried tears of joy when I married my wife. Never cried over money. And that was one moment I felt like I could. You know, it was humiliating. And then to put the cherry on top, I called my wife. I was like, "Yo, this is the greatest humiliation ritual ever." I was like, "I got to make a YouTube video about this." Right? I was like, "This is what the YouTube video is going to be about." I come back home, I get ready to set up the YouTube video, and then I sneeze. Choo, pop, one of my teeth come out, and I'm like, "Nigga, I don't know what's more humiliating, that or what just happened at Market Basket." I could do nothing but laugh at it at that point. Because I've started to realize, like, there's deeper aspects to humiliation. It's not what we think. It's not the end of the road. Um, it's actually what transforms you. It humbles you, right? It gives you humility. It's what makes you human. Hence that key word right? And so I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to look at the etymology of the word humiliation. And it's pretty interesting. So when you look, let me make this bigger. There you go. When you look at, let me see if I can make this even bigger. Okay, nah, that's about as big as it can get. I think it just looks small to me. Right? When you look at the etymology, which the etymology is the origin of words, where words come from. The etymology of the word, this is the etymology of the word human. Let's go to the etymology of humiliation. All right. If you go to the etymology of the word humiliation, it says the act of humiliating or humbling, abasement, mortification, right? From the French humiliation, directly from the late Latin humiliationem. I don't know how you pronounce that. Humiliationem? I don't know. I say it as a Haitian. Or humiliatio, right? A humbling, a humiliation. The noun of the past participle stem of humiliare, to humble, or from humilis, humble, right? And so let's click humble, all right? From the late 13th century, it's persons who are submissive, respectful, lowly in manner, modest, not self-asserting, and obedient. From the Old French, humble, humble, or earlier, humile, from the Latin humilis, lowly, humble, literally on the ground. And I think this is an important one. Literally on the ground, from humus, earth, from the late 14th century, of things, lowly in state, condition, or amount. Also of persons, or of low birth and low rank. Being humiliated or humble by extension grounds you. It brings you to the ground. Brings you to the ground. And for my spiritual folks, you probably understand the importance of grounding, right? Connects you to the earth, keeps you from being taken over by grandiosity, right? And fantasy. Um, Going back to the word human, as I said, it makes us human. It has a very similar origin, right? From humane, the Old French humain, or belonging of man, the Latin humanus, of man or human. Humane, philanthropic, kind, gentle, polite, learned, refined, civilized. This is in part from pi, literally earthling or earthly being. We're going back to earth again, as opposed to the gods. And there is no settled explanation of the sound changes involved, right? Compared to Edom, Adam, man, from Adama, ground, right? And so there's this common theme of grounding. Let's go back to that word humus, right? Um, so this woman's going to explain to you what humus means, right? Um,
You may have heard of humus. Humus is a dark organic substance made from You may have heard of humus. Humus is a dark organic substance made from decomposed plant and animal matter, and is usually found in the top layer of soil and forest floor. Humus contributes to soil fertility and texture. It increases soil porosity and retains moisture and nutrients. It also provides homes for beneficial microbes while extracting toxins and harmful microorganisms from the soil. Completely broken down compost or worm castings are excellent sources of humus. Happy gardening.
right? It's in the soil. This it literally means the soil with life, right? Because there is what we call dirt is not humus. What we call soil is. That's important. That's an important distinction. Um, ooh, there is a woman who had a great build.
Name word for soil, for living soil, is humus.
Right, right.
And the word human is derived from it.
We need to remember that.
And the word humility is derived from it.
Yeah.
So to truly be human is to be of the soil, and to be truly human is to be humble, to not say the soil is dead earth. The Latin name word for soil, for living soil, is humus.
Right, right.
And the word human is derived from it.
We need to remember that.
And the word humility is derived from it.
Yeah.
So to truly be human is to be of the soil, and to be truly human is to be humble, to not say the soil is dead earth. The Latin name.
So this isn't. And if you want to know her credentials for your what are your sources type people, right? Let's look at Vandana Shiva's credential. She is an Indian scholar, environmental activist, food sovereignty advocate, eco-feminist, anti-globalization author. Based in Delhi, Shiva has written more than 20 books, and she is often referred to as Gandhi of grain for her activism associated with the anti-GMO movement, right? So she is a person who is well qualified to be discussing this. Um, and she was saying exactly what I was saying, right? To humility is to be human, and to be human is to be of the earth and of the soil. And so when we experience humility or humiliation, we are recognizing and learning what it is to be human and be more human. And I think part of why that helps with success is that you can't reach a mass in perception. And we're going to get more into perception as these videos go along, because I'm writing a book about perception right now. And I feel like to reach this massive perception, what we deem as success, you have to be human. You have to be human. Think about it. I showed you guys Trump earlier. What do people say who voted for Trump? He tells it like it is. I could have a beer with that guy. To them, he's human. What did they say about Joe Biden? They were like, "Oh, Joe Biden is a clone, or he's Sleepy Joe or whatever," right? And they would place this non-human energy framing on him. This is not to get political, but it's to show that people connect with people who are human, people who are willing to humiliate themselves. And I would say this is the humiliation ritual. It's not, it doesn't have to be orchestrated. It's life and it's being human. And in order to reach an apex of your success, you have to be willing to humiliate yourself. Before we go deeper into that, because I'm about to show you some examples of celebrities who have humiliated themselves purposefully or incidentally in the process of gaining success and how it all relates. But I know for us as Black people, we have to understand too, when we say melanin, right? Yo, my melanated people, da 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 da. We are talking about that humility. We're talking about being grounded. We're talking about being human, right? Melanin and humus are one and the same, right? I think there might be one molecule off. I'm going to share some scientific research on it. All right. So this is on melanin and humic acid's interaction with clay minerals. Humic acid referring to humus. When developing technologies of ion selective biomineral sorbents produced by dark colored micromycetes, cultivation in media containing clay minerals, it is of a great importance to define processes taking place on the boundary of mineral phase and organic phase, right? They're saying between the non-life and the life. When does soil stop being non-life and when does it become alive? Because soil is living, humus is living, dirt is dead. Both contain minerals. So particularly, oh, let me make sure this looks good too, because I'm all about it looking good. See, look at that. Y'all can't even see the screen. Hold on. There you go. All right, I'll continue reading. Let me see. Where is it? I think it's this one. Yeah. All right. Particularly the interaction between sorption active components of dark colored microfungi melanins, because fungi has melanin as well, and surface of clay minerals, montmorillonite and kyolinite, was studied by infrared spectroscopy. Sorry, I'm learning to talk with a new mouth. Keeping in view that the melanin structure closely resembles that of humic acids. Keeping in view that the melanin structure closely resembles that of humic acids. I'm going to finish this sentence, but that's pretty much all I needed from this. We examined humic acids and clay minerals associates obtained by heterocoagulation of peat humic acid hydrosol with clay mineral particles. Right? And so they're talking about what allowed them to do this study. What allowed them to do this study is the relationship, the similarities between melanin, what is on our skin as Black and brown beings, and humus, the earth. And then the idea of human being related to the ground, of the ground, our humility being tied to being human and us being humiliated collectively and individually, strongly in this time, you know? It's funny. I see YouTube videos that go for like 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm like, how do these niggas do this? And here I am. I'm going off right now. I'm almost at an hour and I can keep going. I will keep going. Right. Um, and so we have to understand collectively as people, as humans, we are being humiliated. collectively, the United States, the human race, and then you as an individual. Whatever you experience this week, whatever you experience today is no mistake, right? You are meant to be humiliated. Embrace it. Embrace it. It's all you can do, right? All you can do. And if you don't embrace it, I do feel that's what leads to even more illness. That's what leads to more sickness. That's what leads to death. You stop being human, which is funny because then you'll decompose and then go into the soil and become humus. All right. All right. So let's go into some examples of celebrities we know humiliating themselves, right? I feel like the Kendrick and Drake beef was one of the greatest examples because you had Kendrick Lamar, somebody who, in my opinion, has mastered this this science of humiliation. He actually practices a really cool meditative practice. I think it's called Visashana. Oh, oh my god, Vipassana meditation. Apparently, him and Dave Free practice Vipassana meditation, which is an ancient Indian meditation technique, meaning to see things as they really are, right? And it involves a systemic body scan to observe physical sensations without judgment, training the mind to not react to fleeting feelings of discomfort or pleasure. And I would add to that humiliation. He practices a meditation that protects him from humiliation, or at least embraces it, right? Um, right? Here's Kendrick Lamar saying meditation is a must. Doesn't hurt you if you try, right? Here's other videos of Kendrick Lamar, you know, doing Vipassana, right? Kendrick Lamar's Vipassana retreat transformed his journey through meditation and mental strength, right? This all follows humiliation. Now, going back to Drake, who does not practice Vipassana, he does not practice Vipassana, right? Right. Um, this thing needs to stop defaulting to like bad screen shares. I want to make sure y'all see this screen. You know, no, let me move that there. There you go. That's better. So going back to Drake, who totally does not practice Vipassana, right? Um, he attempted to do the humiliation ritual on himself, thinking it would cancel out the grand one that was finna play out in his life shortly after. And honestly, this kind of kicked it off, right? And so in this, he takes the persona of Pac using AI, and then he starts saying, hey, like, F this Canadian light skin, right? Call him a B word, talk about him liking young girls. They say this was actually what got Drake's case dismissed, right? When he tried to bring it against UMG, where he was like, yo, this was defamation, da 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 da. They're like, bro, you made a song where you asked him to talk about you liking young girls. So how can you say you were humiliated, which in his lawsuit, that was one of the things he used as his emotional damage. He felt humiliated by Not Like Us. They're like, how can you say you were humiliated when you humiliated yourself? Right? Or you told him to humiliate you, right? Um, I think what he was trying to do, which is a successful way of doing the self humiliation, was the famous 8 Mile battle, right? Um, where Eminem is battling dang, I don't even remember his name. What was his name? B Rabbit. We can just watch the video. But he ends up making fun of himself before the other rapper can make fun of him. So the other rapper ain't got nothing to say, right? He's part of the Free World gang, right?
It's your turn, baby.
So let's play this real quick.
45 seconds. Let this motherfucker feel it. All right? Yo, DJ, spin that shit. Don't choke this time.
All right, look. Hey, yo. This guy raps like his parents jerked him. He sounds like Eric Sermon, the generic version. This whole crowd looks suspicious. It's all dudes in here, except for these bitches. So I'm a German, eh? That's okay. You look like a fucking worm with braids. These leaders are the free world rookies. Looking, how can 6 dicks be pussies? Talking about shit's creep. Bitch, you could be a piss creep with paddles. This deep, you're still gonna sink. You're a disgrace. Yeah, they call me rabbit. This is a turtle race. You can't get with me spitting this shit. Wiggity lickety shot. The spiggy spiggity split lickety. Then I'ma turn around with a great smile and walk my white ass back across 8 miles.
Right? Y'all peep that? Y'all peep that? He literally mooned the crowd. That's humiliating. He said, walk my white ass across 8 Mile, which if you guys don't know 8 Mile Detroit, it ain't a pretty sight, right? 7 Mile is even crazier. So to be a white boy saying, I'm gonna walk my naked ass across 8 Mile, that's humiliating. But he empowered himself with it. He empowered himself with it. Let's continue.
Boy, I think you were a little hard on the beaver. So was Eddie Haskell, Wally, and Miss Cleaver. This guy keeps screaming. He's paranoid. Quick, someone get his ass another steroid. I ain't hear a word you said. Hibbity hoopla. Is that a tank top or a new bra? Look, Snoop Dogg has got a fucking boob job. Last round, meathead. Pay attention. You're saying the same shit that
He said.
Matter of fact, dog, here's a pencil. Go home, write some shit, make it suspenseful, and don't come back until something don't hit you. Fuck it. You can take the mic home.
I'm with you.
Looking like a cyclone.
Hit you.
Tank top screaming, I don't
No fit you. Come on.
See how far the white jokes get you. Boys like, how Vanilla Ice
Gon' diss you.
My motto, fuck lotto.
See, part of the strategy he's using is if I humiliate you and you are afraid of humiliation, then I can defeat you because I can humiliate myself. And he's about to prove it. They're going to try to humiliate him and they can't. But he can humiliate them. And the only reason he can is because they are afraid of humiliation. I saw something recently and I made a comment. It was Kevin McCall. Do I have him on here? I might have him up. Ready to go. I have a few things up here. Nah, I don't. Hold on. I got to pop up this Kevin McCall joint. Anyways, I don't need to get sidetracked. But I saw the Kevin McCall situation, work with Chris Brown, and he humiliated himself on a podcast recently. And I was like, yo, he's a strong man. Only weak men are afraid of humiliation. Remember I was building earlier about like, yo, a man's worst fear is seeing them insufficient funds. For my men, right? I got to stop sharing the screen for this. For my men, the strongest men don't fear humiliation. The strongest men don't fear humiliation. Tell yourself that as much as you need to hear it, because it is the line that will save you in this time we're in.
7 digits from your mother for $1 tomorrow. motherfucking hands up and follow me. Everybody from the 313, put your motherfucking hands up. Look, look. Now while he stands tough, noticing this man did not have his hands up. This free world's got you gassed up. Now who's afraid of the big bad boy? 1, 2, 3 into the 4. 1 pop, 2 pop, 3 pop, 4. 4 pop, 3 pop, 2 pop, 1. Your pop, he's pop, no pop, none. This guy ain't no motherfucking MC. I knew everything he's about to say against me. I am white, I am a fucking punk.
Look, look, look. He said, I'm about to say everything he's about to say against me. He's taking that humiliation and he's flipping the energy in real time. Mind you, he said MC none. Remember I told you to be an MC, you got to recover from that shit? That is true MCing. Watch this.
Dude lives in a trailer with my mom. My boy Future is an okay one. Your pop, he's pop, no pop, none. This guy ain't no motherfucking MC. I know everything he's about to say against me. I am white, I am a fucking punk. I do live in a trailer with my mom. My boy Future is an Uncle Tom. I do got a dumb friend named Cheddar Bob who shoots himself in his leg with his own gun. I did get jumped, but all 6 of you jumped. And Wink did fuck my girl. I'm still standing here screaming
Fuck the free world.
You gotta judge me, dude. You don't know what the fuck I've been through. I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence. And Clarence lives at home
Who
with
were his
both
parents?
And Clarence's parents have
Got a real good marriage.
I don't want to battle. He's shook, 'cause ain't no
Such things as halfway crooks. You know,
scared to look at his fucking yearbook. Fuck Cranbrook.
woo! He said he's scared to look in his yearbook. His whole thing is you're afraid of humiliation. I'm not. One of his bars was, Clarence lives in a house with his parents and both of his parents have a real good marriage. A couple bars earlier, Eminem just said he lives with his mom. I've seen this movie and I've seen this scene so many times, I didn't even notice that. He's making fun of Clarence. Clarence, right? He's making fun of him for living with his parents, and it's like, yo, Eminem, you just said you're a bum and you live with yours. What makes this dope is that he's owning it. What makes it dope is that he's owning it. He's being human. He's being fucking human, man.
Fuck a beat, I go a cappella. Fuck a Papa Doc, fuck a clock, fuck a trailer, fuck everybody. Fuck y'all if you doubt me. I'm a piece of fucking white trash, I say it proudly. And fuck this battle, I don't want to win, I'm outie. Here, tell these people something they don't know about me.
Yo, look at that. He don't want to do it. He don't want to humiliate himself. He don't want to humiliate himself. Yo, he was gonna say all the shit. Yo. That shit gave me chills, yo. That shit gave me chills, yo. My God. I always forget how much of a masterpiece that movie is. And it's a movie all about mastering humiliation. It's all about mastering humiliation. Fuck, that's fucking hip hop, man. I don't care what anybody says about, Eminem and his place in the culture. This is a man who deserves to be in the culture, for sure. Just from that. Just from that. Cause that's hip hop. Black people, we've been humiliated for over 400 years. When are we gonna talk about that? I'll wait. While we wait, I'm going to show you some other examples of people who have utilized the power of humiliation, right? Um this one was a very bizarre one. Happened this year, right? This is Kanye West, right? He revealed on Twitter, formerly or X, formerly known as Twitter, that that him and his cousin, his male cousin, had sexual relations, right, at a young age, and it was the most humiliating thing I've ever seen a goat. Because let's be real, Ye is the goat, at least to me, right? Like we just saw what Eminem did. I think Ye is even better. Fight me about it, right? Um, and he humiliated himself by talking about his trauma as a child. Then he made a song about it. This is the song. I'm gonna play a little bit of it. All right. I think that's good enough. We don't have to listen to the whole thing. Um and it's clearly Dave Free, just fucking singing it with a Yay AI vocal clone, whatever. I only know that for sure just because shouts to my homie Joshua Schuback. He was engineering for Ye during that period. Or I think slightly before it. And he also engineered this, my debut album, Ways of the World. You can listen to it on all platforms. Yeah, this was engineered by the same engineer who probably engineered Ye's cousin song. I don't know if that's is that a casual flex? I don't know. Shouts to Josh Schuback though. He's killing it. He actually just engineered a DDG's project. Worked on ASAP Rockies. He's killing it out there. Love you, bro. Um but that's a great example of Ye mastering the power of humiliation. Mind you, Dave Blunt's ended up having a falling out with Ye. Came back around, started to make fun of him. Oh, you're gay. You're this. You're that. You sucked your cousins. Da da da. But it's like, bro, how you gonna write and likely record a song about giving your cousin head and then make fun of the person whose name was on? You wrote it and you likely recorded it. That's neither here nor there, neither, right? Um, let's move on to the next one, right? This was a big one. This humiliated all of Atlanta. The Young Thug leaks, right? Young Thug did a stint in jail, came out. Everybody was like, welcome back, welcome back. Young Thug's back, right? And next thing you know, a whole bunch of audio tapes start getting released where Young Thug's talking ish about everybody in the music industry. And he's saying some terrible things, right? He's talking bad about Gunna. He's talking bad about Glorilla. He's talking bad about Future. Talking bad about, I think he talked bad about everybody except Lil Baby. I think that was the only person he did not talk bad about. Um, and these were people he was cool with before the leaks happened. You know, he was even talking trash about his own girl at the time, Mariah the Scientist, and she ended up leaving him because I think he admitted to cheating, or one of his calls about cheating came out. He was humiliated, and Atlanta at large was humiliated because their king, Young Thug, let's be real, he was the king of Atlanta for a bit. Their king was humiliated. I like to think of the story of the emperor's new clothes, right, or the emperor's new robe, where it's about this kingdom that worships this emperor, right? They idolize this emperor, and he's so surrounded by yes men, he ends up getting sold a fake robe by a con man, and the robe is invisible, right? The threads are so fine, they're invisible, the con man says. And so the emperor is naked and he's walking around butt ass naked, and everybody in the kingdom, because they don't want their emperor to be humiliated, which would humiliate the kingdom, they pretend he's wearing the finest robe. And the people start saying, yo, emperor, yo, that's a fly fit. That's an ill robe. Da, 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 da. And he's naked. He ain't got no robe on. Right? I forgot how he finds out he's actually naked. But once he finds out he's actually naked, that's when the humiliation sets in. You know, the funny thing about humiliation is the longer you go avoiding it, the more humiliating it is. I repeat, the longer you go avoiding humiliation, the more humiliating it is. Let's watch this video.
Thinking like what I was doing. I think I was just so f***ed up, and I just felt like it was just over. Like I'm just sitting in jail 24 hours on 23 and 1. I'm in a cell 23 hours. Like at this point, I'm just like, man, I don't give a life. It ain't what I'm thinking it is. Like I'm just talking. Now, at this point, I'm just talking. At this point, I'm just holding conversations with my girl. But the crazy part is, all these conversations that I had on the phone, I also had with the same niggas who I was talking about on the phones. So that's why it don't seem weird between us, me and them. Cause I done had these same conversations with Wayne. I done had these same conversations with Savage. How I feel about him, how I feel about Wham, how I feel about these, how I feel about every situation. We talk like men, we brothers. We talk. They tell me how they feel about certain things. So we all align. We won. We what we is. But you gotta understand, like, my standpoint. I'm locked up. I'm on the phone talking to my girl every day. This is the only person I'm talking to on the phone. This is the only person that I can talk to. Like, I can't even talk to my family because they just like how they is. It ain't good for my case. They can be on the phone. They don't understand certain things. So if I be on the phone with them, they might say the wrong thing on the phone. So now I can't talk to them. Now I can't talk to Baby. I don't want the police to get on Bank. Now I can't talk to Wham. I don't want the police to get on him. I don't want the police to get on Savage. I don't want the police to get on Pluto. It's just so much in my mind to the point where I'm just like, I'm confining myself. I mean, not confined. I'm like trapping myself to just communicate with one person. And then I might go to court and just get body slammed by the judge, bro. And then I just gotta come back to the jail. Now I'm on the phone with somebody that I love, whoever it is I'm on the phone with, and they like, or goddamn, they say this right here been no pulling up on bro. Of course, I'm just like, bro, I just got body slammed by the jail. I'm just feeling how I'm feeling, bro. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I ain't even tripping on that. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And I done told all these same things. I feel like I was tripping, but I feel like, cause I ain't never did that like that. I ain't never pillow talk with no girl ever in life. I ain't never in my life held no conversation with no girl about no nothing ever until jail. And I've been trying to figure out, like, why the hell was I even doing it? And then I just had to, like, think back to when I was in jail. Because I did a long time in jail, so I know how to think right back to when I was in jail right now. And that's another thing I don't even want to do. That's why I don't even respect the phone call coming out, because all it do is make me think about when I was in jail going through.
And it's not a coincidence he can't stop thinking about jail. It keeps bringing him back to jail. You know, I don't think I got to bring it up, but there was another piece of footage. It was video footage. It was body cam footage of a correctional officer in jail, helping Young Thug after he got jumped, and he had to use a walker. He looked humiliated in the video, and so this public humiliation he's going through is triggering him and bringing him back to when he was in prison.
Fight for my life. All they do is make my girl think about Those long conversations on the phone, we praying and we doing shit and hoping that I can get away from this, come out of it. That's the weird part about this that's happening. Like all this one moment in the memes on the internet and trying to just like tarnish my existence and just my real, just to have fun with it, but not knowing like, but it traumatized me here. They goddamn make me remember when I was in jail. It make me remember those dark days and moments I had, bro. It made my girl cry. She ain't even tripping about what we saying on the phone. We said whatever I say twice. I'm a grown man. I'm a man. Whatever I say twice. And I done said it to every. They know that. So I ain't tripping on that part. I'm tripping on just like the world not knowing it. I'm tripping on the world just, oh, but look at this. Oh, and y'all, here go another phone call. It's just like, bro, y'all don't understand what's going on. I'm do every day. I'm looking at my best friend, them do what they do.
And that's the king of Atlanta, man. He's even saying the only person I could talk to is my girl. His girl ended up leaving him after that. Even more humiliating, right? Let's see another, right? This one's so ironic. So this one is Lil Nas X. And first, he's making fun of the idea of humiliation rituals. Then I'm going to show you the real life humiliation ritual he manifested. Oh, man.
Backpack, 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 backpack.
Sending in this month's humiliation ritual to the label so my songs can start selling.
Everything that you might need, I got it right for you.
Right?
Backpack, 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 backpack. Everything that you might need, I got it right for you.
Mind you, the point of this is he's trying to say, yo, there's no humiliation ritual that got me to gain my fame, right? This person said, yo, please don't let the conspiracy theory talk find this, right? Now let's see what happened almost 10 years later, right? Because humiliation rituals aren't real, right? Right? We want to act like it's just not a thing, right?
Mr. Hill, you have a right to a speedy preliminary hearing. Do you understand and give up that right?
Yes. After spending 4 nights behind bars, Lil Nas X, in a blue jail-issued jumpsuit, stood emotionless behind a secured area as he pled not guilty to 4 felonies, including 3 counts of battery with injury on a police officer. If convicted, he faces years in prison.
Uh-oh, somebody's gonna have to pay for that.
The 26-year-old reportedly punched a police officer in the face twice after being spotted by TMZ wandering the streets in nothing but underwear and cowboy boots.
I actually know of no evidence that drugs were involved. He's won 2 Grammy Awards.
Ironically, Lil Nas X's Industry Baby video shows him in jail with both those Grammys. Today, he posted the $75,000 bail and agreed to abstain from illegal drugs and also attend 4 Narcotics Anonymous meetings a week or enroll in an outpatient drug program. He's due back in court September 15th, and outside, his father said his son is remorseful.
He's gonna get the help that he needs, and just keep him in your prayers, but he's in great spirits.
Meanwhile, Britney Spears continues to spark fan concern on social media.
All right, we don't need to go into Britney, which, you know, she probably a whole humiliation ritual too, right? But ain't that ironic, right? Like, part of the energy of humiliation is when you feel like you're immune to it, that's when it's going to hit you the hardest. When you feel like you're immune to it, that's when it hits you the hardest. When you feel like you're immune to humiliation, that's when it hits you the hardest. You cannot escape humiliation. And so when people try to laugh at somebody, put people down when they're humiliated, clock's ticking. You're next. You can't avoid it. It's part of being ding 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 human. Hence why empathy is so important. And understanding, right? People may have thought Lil Nas X already did humiliations to get plaques in Hollywood or whatever the fuck, right? Um, him disagreeing though and saying, "Oh, here's my humiliation ritual," planted a seed that's like, well, look what happened. You ended up getting completely humiliated, going on whatever bender you were going on that night in LA, getting locked up, and everybody seeing you dance the streets in your underwear. Probably one of the most humiliating things, right? Um, let's see what else we got. Um, let's see. Oh, boop. Um, oh, and before we do get into some more of these that are going on, I think it's important to understand what a public humiliation is. And so let's read this real quick, just on Wikipedia. Public humiliation or public shaming is a form of punishment whose main feature is dishonoring or disgracing a person, usually an offender or a prisoner, especially in a public place. It was regularly used as a form of judicially sanctioned punishment in previous centuries and is still practiced in different means in the modern era, right? And so when we think of public shaming, we think of these like historical shame the people while flogging them, right? Through the town square. But this energy, even though it doesn't happen in that way back then, it happens now every single day in the form of cancel culture. It happens every day in the form of viral, humiliating memes. You know, it happens every day just in our personal lives. As I said, even financially, when you can't buy milk at Market Basket for $10, right? Um, and so, yeah, public humiliation is where this idea of the humiliation ritual comes through. One of the biggest ones that we saw was the Diddy case, where Cassie Ventura felt humiliated about the freak offs, right? Um, I can play a little bit of this, but I think we all
The
followed the
star
Diddy
witness
story.
in the federal sex trafficking trial against Sean Diddy Combs is back on the stand today. Singer Cassie Ventura, the ex-girlfriend of Mr. Combs, alleged that she was coerced into what Combs called freak-offs, multi-day drug-fueled sexual encounters. She also alleged that Combs used sex tapes as blackmail. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. NBC News correspondent Rahema Ellis is outside the courthouse in New York City. Rahema, Cassie Ventura's testimony has been emotional. It's been at times graphic. What has the focus been like today?
The focus today is a lot on these freak-offs, and what's happening in the courtroom right now is that the prosecution has presented
Like,
7 still photos of
do you
the
know how
freak-offs in
humiliating
terms of
it
some of
must
what's
have
happening.
been for Cassie to have gone through this level of trauma and to hear the term freak off every single day on the news? I can only imagine how people are looking at her after hearing about what she went through and the things that she did. And she may have gotten money out of it. Well, actually, she did get money out of it. And I think it's a prime example of if she refused the humiliation ritual, if she did not want to be humiliated, she would not have gotten the justice she got, at least in terms of the civil lawsuit and the payment. She had to go through the humiliation to win that case. And she had to be re-humiliated again in the criminal trial so Diddy can be sentenced, you know? Um, I'm so proud of Cassie. I really am. Because to face that level of humiliation, that takes a real woman. That's a strong woman right there. Weak women are afraid of humiliation. Not to say any victims of sexual abuse are weak. You know, you are some of the strongest people in the world, whether or not you humiliate yourself. But a symbol of strength is being able to endure humiliation. It takes a lot of fucking strength. And Cassie did that. And I think that deserves a round of applause from any and everybody, you know? Next thing is Charlie Sheen, right? He's been going around recently. Doing interviews, doing humiliating interviews, right? Charlie Sheen's plastic surgery confession. Hollywood wild man admits he got liposuction after being called fat by a prostitute following a sexual encounter, right? Sheen did not hold back as he recalled the humiliating but influential interaction with a sex worker amid his sobriety journey. And I think that sentence is enough. I don't have to go through the whole thing, but him going through the humiliation is what influenced him to turn his life around. On an astrological level, let me see if I can pull that up. On an astrological level, humiliation is tied to Scorpio and Pluto, the underworld, the hidden secrets, the things we're ashamed about, yet we're passionate about, right? There are transits occurring right now that the world, the country has never seen before. Dealing with Pluto, and currently dealing with Scorpio. And so these energies of humiliation are being amplified. They're being amplified. That's why we're all feeling it. They're being amplified astrologically. And the best advice I can give is not to fight it. Embrace it. Like how Charlie Sheen is doing interviews about it. How Cassie Ventura went to court and humiliated herself in order to get $30 million, you know, and justice, most importantly, right? I'm not sure what Kanye gained from his humiliation. I guess he gained some sort of freedom, you know. From what I've been paying attention to, Ye has always hated having to walk over eggshells in terms of his language and the ideas he has, being afraid of humiliation. And so I feel from 2022 till now, and this is not co-signing everything that he said and has done between then. He is still my GOAT, but it doesn't co-sign everything he has said and done, right? But I feel that was a process of him freeing himself through humiliation. He realized if I just keep humiliating myself, I can free myself of all these contracts, of having to walk on eggshells, of the paparazzi chasing me, you know? Yeah. And if that was his goal, it worked. It worked. It worked. Let's see what else we got. So I have a few interesting ones here, right? This is Jazzy Faye. This was him in the 90s. And I'm glad he posted this just because, you know, he was having a laugh at it. I can tell it's humiliating for him. But I think the cool thing about humiliation is that a positive way is that it shows you growth. By Jazzy Faye humiliating himself doing this, you know, rap, which I think is pretty dope. I don't even think it was that bad. It allowed him to pivot and become who he is now, right? He humiliated himself as Phaelon to become Jazzy Faye.
Don't believe the
So
lie.
let's listen to this real quick.
We, the people, need to be united and not take life for granted. The Lord has given us the planet Earth, and you draw the line and say that it's your turf? Bull, nonsense, not so. In other words, no can go for that, my brother.
In other words,
hard to love one another.
N-O.
Don't believe the lies they told you. Break away the chains that hold you. There's a better way to live your life.
Mind you, he totally
With a
stole
gun
that.
Or a knife, the time has come to stop the madness.
He said, "Don't believe the lies." It's like, yo, what? Like, don't believe the hype. Like, that was crazy.
It only brings tears of sadness. Pull together and unite.
As we
And,
enter
and then I'm like, what's more humiliating? Is it his hairstyle or is it the rap?
the dance floor of life.
Honestly, the hairstyle is it for me.
$365, the world revolves. Plenty of food, still we starve. Take it to the maximum, we gotta fix it. World hunger, I ain't with it. The pipe, the rock, the chair, leave it there.
All right, I don't think we need. Leave it there. Yes, I'll leave it there. I don't think we need the second verse. Right, right. But shouts to Jazzy Faye. He embraced it. Right. He's sitting there talking about like this is funny, right? Like let's all laugh at this, right, together. Especially because he knows he's reached so much success after overcoming the humiliation, right? You can't avoid it. It's part of the process. Um, let's see what else I got on here. Um, so this was a pastor recently who he was humiliated, or actually he humiliated this woman because he asked the donors to give $2,000 for tithes, and she came up with 1,200, and he got so much backlash that he had to come up with this video because he ended up being humiliated. And see, that's the energy of humiliation, where it's like, if you go out of your way to humiliate others, it will come back to bite you. It will come back to bite you. His humiliation of her ended up humiliating himself, right? And so here's the video of him humiliating her.
Unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other.
Mind you, he might have meant well, but it was the that's not $2,000. Like, damn, why you gotta humiliate shorty like that? 1,200 is a lot to give. First of all, that's a lot to give. Hold on. Let's hear him.
To all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
You hear that energy, bro? That's so humiliating. I think that's so mean to do. She an elder too, man. You don't do that.
I'm saying.
And then he says, "You're not listening to what I'm saying." Like, bro, you ain't listening to God, bro.
All that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Mind you, he doubled down and she said, "I'm gonna work on the other 800." He said, "That's not what I asked you to do." And it's just like everybody in the church laughs. Like, you humiliated that woman. And he tried to save face. This is him trying to save face because now he's humiliated, right?
You're the woman in that viral video.
Right.
He did not rebuke you.
He absolutely did not rebuke me. Now, there's a difference. There was a correction because let me clearly state that Pastor
Let me clearly state, she has drank the Kool-Aid. Like, ma'am, I know you love God. This man humiliated you. like
to get into.
I was calling because the whole church was giving, and it was our day of giving, and the whole church was coming, and we didn't want people standing, the mothers and all that, so I was calling them by increments. And we had someone that had given out of before, and I corrected it, and I told everybody to listen and come when you call, and that's all that was.
Roberta told me Pastor Winans personally apologized to her. She's been a member of Perfecting Church since.
And so, once again, we're just seeing this constant theme of humiliation in all realms of society, right now. This was one of the more bizarre ones. Hold on. Hold on. Let me show you this real quick. This has to be the most humiliating thing. I think this is probably the only thing I've watched so far today, in my opinion, that is more humiliating than what happened to me at Market Basket.
Deceive her friends and family. This is actually insane. A 23-year-old woman faked her entire pregnancy using a prosthetic baby bump, faking ultrasound scans, and even using a mechanical silicone baby to deceive her friends and family after giving birth. Bro, somehow she even convinced the baby's father. How? Now, pretending to be pregnant was the easy part. In public, she'd always wear a prosthetic, and online, she would post ultrasound scans and even come up with convincing details, like some of the tests showed that her baby had a heart defect. She had a gender reveal, a baby shower, and her loved ones turned up with expensive gifts like prams and a car seat. But when it came time to actually give birth, a little more tricky, but she was way too far to go back now. So she locked in. She gave birth completely alone, so brave, and then began posting pictures of her newborn, which turned out to be a hyper-realistic reborn doll, which, for anyone who doesn't know, these dolls can move, have facial expressions, and even pee and poo, and are often used as a form of therapy for those struggling with infant loss, dementia, or infertility. But they can set you back hundreds, if not thousands. However, eventually her family started suspecting that someone was—
Bro, eventually? What kind of family is this?
sus. They never heard the child cry, they weren't allowed to touch it, and at this point, realizing that she'd have to freaking adopt a child, send it off to college if she wanted to continue this shit, she decided to call it a day by telling her boyfriend, the father, that the child died. Glad you let him down gently, but by that point—
And this is what I'm talking about. When you are fighting so hard to not be humiliated, you will only make the humiliation worse. It will only get worse. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but you need to hear it. If you avoid the humiliation, it will only get worse. Stop. She told her man the baby died because she didn't want to admit she faked the pregnancy. Yo, what?
Point, it was too late, and it all came out when her mother reportedly discovered the baby doll in her bedroom. Now, she has since apologized, saying, "You didn't deserve to be lied to like that. None of you did. Everyone who came to the gender reveal, all the people who gave me gifts or support. I just didn't know how to stop once I started. And to everyone I made look bad along the way, the dad and his family especially, I'm sorry." This is actually insane.
And she said she didn't know how to stop when she started. It was from the fear. She was in fear of being humiliated, and somebody here is saying pure craziness, which, to an extent it's pure craziness. I think crazy is simply what we fail to understand in a normal human context, though there are crazy batshit things that happen. I think both things can be true, but I think it's also important to see the humanity in what's going on. She is a human. She did a very human thing. She wanted to be proud of a success, being pregnant. She could not achieve that success of being pregnant. She was humiliated by it. But instead of being human and understanding some humans don't have babies, some humans can't have babies, it's okay, right? Some humans are humiliated by trying to have babies, but they can't. It's okay. She some can't, some just can't right now, right? I don't want to be too final because people deal with it. I've dealt with it, but thankfully I have a son. Anyways, but with her, right? She's dealing with this, and instead of just admitting, "Hey, I'm having trouble. I'm having difficulty getting pregnant," she faked the pregnancy. And then when her boyfriend and family found out, instead of saying, "Hey, I'm faking this pregnancy," she threw a fake uh uh a fake baby shower. And then they were like, "Where's the bump?" She got a fake baby bump. And then when it said, "Where's the baby?" She got a fake baby. And when things started still being weird, people can't see her, she's like, the baby died. All to avoid the humiliation that was imminent. It was inevitable. You could not avoid it. And it would have been way easier if 9 months earlier she was just like, yeah, guys, I'm having trouble having a child right now. Would have been way easier. Instead, she prolonged it and made it the most agonizing thing in the world, right?
A 20
I think that might conclude my little presentation for now. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, that is pretty much it. And so, you know, I do want to share with you guys. Part of my journey, part of other people's journeys, and part of your journey, which is that we all go through humiliation. And if you haven't, you will. And so if you have the choice between prolonging the inevitable or just embracing it, I encourage you, embrace it. Embarrass yourself. I'm serious. And with that, I'm Terry Borderline, your hip hop visionary. I don't know how regularly I'm going to do this, but my goal is to be as regular as possible. So, like, comment, subscribe, and the more you do it, the more I'll show up. I promise you that. I don't care how humiliating it is. And that was actually another thing I wanted to share. I feel like part of what stopped me from being online like this was some type of latent fear of being humiliated, right? But we're letting that go.